What's up, all my musicians out there? For this video, I'm going to be reviewing the KSHMR Essentials Plugin. This just came out via Splice, and I'm really excited to check this out. Now, going on the site, it basically says that KSHMR Essentials, put your kicks, synths, vocals, drums, and bass through KSHMR's signal chain to make your instrument feel bigger, punchier, brighter, and sit better in the mix. So what it seems like essentially, it almost seems like that it's an effects rack or an pre-made audio rack depending on what the element is in your track. Meaning that, for example, let's say I have a vocal and I want to add reverb and saturation and EQ it and add delay and whatever, all these different parameters and all these different effects. These are kind of all pre-made based off KSHMR's experience, and obviously he's an incredible producer. So let's jump into it. I will say too, this is actually a plugin you pay for. Typically on this channel, I review a lot of free plugins. And this one costs $5 a month for 20 months. It's basically a 0% interest loan through Splice's rent-to-own system, which is amazing. So basically, you only spend $5 a month every month for 20 months. Once you get to that $100, limit or threshold, you then don't owe anything anymore, and you officially own the plugin. Pretty cool. So let's try this out. So basically, you have bass, drums, kick, synth, and vocals. So I actually organized it like this. I got a bunch of samples from Splice. And so let's just start. So I'm going to start with bass, obviously, and I have two different bass lines. So I'm going to turn this off. So I have one that's basically a moombahton bass line, and then another one that's a trap one, just to kind of see the differences. So I'm going to do this. I'm also going to probably loop this. So let's start with this one. So I'm going to play this dry, right? So basically no effects. Actually, let's speed this up a little bit. Let's do 110 for moombahton. There we go. Right? And let's loop this section. So you get the idea. So let's turn this on. So we have to basically harm X, fuzz, pressure, excite, sub, side cut, width, and comp. So obviously compression. I guess I could board those a little bit better. Now, one thing I'll say about this plugin that I was kind of checking out is if I go to here, these are basically the default settings. If I click drop down, it automatically opens up this kind of directory for all the factory presets, which is cool. It makes sense that they have presets for each one of these. It is annoying though to me already that I can't have a drop-down menu, that I have to almost click this, because if you look at this, some of these are kind of cut off, right? So it's kind of annoying, but I guess we'll deal. So let's put on Complex World, and let's see how it sounds now. All right, turning off. So you can see this already, see. Interesting, okay. So we can definitely do a lot of unique effects. Can I initialize the preset? Okay, let's go back to, see, this is where it's annoying. Now if I go to here, can I just go to default? So I don't like that, I'm not gonna lie. Is there any way for me to reset it? Or just initialize a preset? I guess not. So I'm just going to... See, that's kind of annoying. I know this plugin just came out, and it's obviously his first one, but... Anyway, so let's now... What I'm going to do is I'm going to play the bass, and I'm going to turn up each one, go to 0, 100%, and then see how it sounds. Obviously, I'm going to keep it at 100% wet, too. I like that one. That's cool. Sub. That can be very helpful. I think the side cut. Okay, I like that. I feel like I like the frequency a little bit better. What depends on what I'm going for. You never want to make your basses wide, but hey, you never know, And then push. So pretty cool. I do like that. I like a lot of these settings, and also I will say this in terms of the GUI or the graphical user interface of this plugin, it's very seamless and simple. It's very, very sleek. So I will say that besides the whole idea of initializing a preset or getting a preset that he made for this plugin, like this kind of pre-made, that is a little frustrating in terms of the directory settings. But besides that, I actually really like this already. Like now, let's do the trap one. So these settings, I feel like, and again, this obviously, when it comes to music production, you never know. So I feel like that when it comes to bass, a trap bass would probably be better to kind of mess with. The Moombahton bass, you don't really want to touch with that too much, I feel like, when producing Moombahton. But, like, the fuzz adds great. Like, the excite sounds. So the algorithms this uses are great. Side cut, of course. I don't think this maybe have stereo width. So I like that one a lot. I will say I like this a lot for the bass. So now let's go to the drums. So for the drums, I'm going to be using the cinematic drums. Sounds like that. Right. So that's sort of this one. And I'm going to go to drums now. So if you notice, the settings change depending on each one. So for example, you know, if you notice these for bass, now I have this one. So if, like, say you want to hypothetically put a bass setting on drums or a vocal setting on drums or whatever, you can mess around with this, right? So it's not set in stone, so I kind of like that. So we got air. So it almost looks like just boost the high notes a little bit. Body. So it looks like it's this. These are EQing. Looks like it's boosting in the mid-range. Details. Interesting. Pressure. Transients. Tape. That's some like yeah, going through like a tube almost. Width. Wow, actually I like that stereo width. And glue. So I think the glue is kind of like the glue compressor in Ableton. So I think the glue, for example, would be good if you put this on, like, say your group. So if you have like kick and snare, for example, and you want to use like a glue compressor on them, it seems like the glue would be pretty good for that. And you can also already tell the changes with the glue, especially. I like these settings, though. It's kind of cool because I think this plugin is made in such a way, which is very unique, and I like this. And it's made in such a way that if you know music production a lot, you can kind of mess around with these very specifically, and obviously I can even add some post stuff on here as well. But if you don't know anything about music production, these are worded in such a way, like air, body. You know, I feel like that they're worded in very simple terms. So if you don't know anything about music production, you can kind of just mess around with it and still create something really unique and boost and enhance any sample that you have. So I like that. Now let's go down to kick. You know, I'm just going to delete these so I don't have multiple instances running. And I have obviously KSHMR's kick right here. I'm going to make this 128. So let's do it as like almost like a big room thing. And let's do that. Right. I'm going to go to kick. Wait, did I copy these wrong? I may have. Just to make sure, okay. Alright, there we go. So let's go to kicks now. Sub. The sub alone actually might be a really, really good one. I think because sometimes for a kick, especially if you want like that big room sound, which is like boom, boom, like, you know, the huge 4 on the floor sound can be good. Let's do mid, and you can even tell by the EQ difference. Air, actually, this one down. Trans. That can be really good to have that kind of, like that little punchy click. Tape could be good if you want to take a big room kick and turn it into like a hard style kick. Pressure, ooh, I like the sound of that. That is good. Percussion. And then width. It's interesting that you put width on a kick. But hey, you never know. So now let's try one of his. See, I hate how this happens. But anyway, so let's try. Wait, where are keys? Is keys meant for kick? Bring your lead to life. Okay. That one. Let's try another one. Punch Your Way. Seems like some of the... Alright, so I think that one, like, that's pretty cool. Some of these presets, I think it's tricky. Again, just the directory is the only thing I'm not liking about this plugin right now. But besides that, I mean, the algorithms it uses are amazing. So now, let's get into synths and everything. This is going to be kind of interesting to see. So we have virtual riots. Since we have 2, I decided also I want to try this out. I have is a dubstep groove. if we call it that, and then kind of a future bass. So we have this one. Alright, so now let's go to synths. Let's have some fun with this side. So add more to the body. Remove it. Presence. Seems like a little bit of a high end. Air. A little more, I feel like these seem like almost like, because obviously with presence, in case you don't know from like a music production standpoint, the more high end something has, the less you have to turn it up. So it kind of puts it more in the mix. So I think that's actually really good for a lot of, especially when you get to the end of your production stage of a track, when it comes to the mix down. This can be so easy, rather than like taking your EQ and trying to boost it in the right spot, just adding this. So I love the simplicity. Exciting. I like these a lot. Details. Not as much for this one, I feel like. Pressure. Seems like an aggressive compression. Seems like a sonic expand. Stereo whip and then glue. Really, really cool setting. So now we're gonna try out, let's do this, a future bass one. So let's say if you don't produce dubstep. I was gonna say, why is this like... Alright, so let's try, you know, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna bring this down here. Alright. We got, back on. Body. Presence. Air. Sight. Details. Pressure. What's the auto thing? Band. And glue. Really cool. I think for like, especially if you just need to add some more dynamics or harmonics into any synth, that's really, really unique. Now on the last one, or technically the second to last one, because I'm going to try something a little interesting afterwards. Now we have lastly a vocal. So I have this one vocal sample. It's about 140. So let's try it out. Now, I'm going to go to vocals. You have gate, body, clarity, air, compression, pressure, spread, and glue. So gate, for this one, might not be as apparent. Body. Clarity. I like clarity. Air as well. So yeah, very, very crisp algorithms it uses. Compression. Pressure. Not the biggest fan of that. The phasing it uses on that stereo width is interesting. I don't think I turned that up all the way, obviously, not really. But. And then glue. So let's try a vocal one on this. Let's see. Let's try this one. Ooh, okay. So as you can tell, I think combining them or adding or doing them all at once really, like, this would be cool to have like almost in a psychedelic style record. Really unique. Now, let's go to the last one. So obviously on this one, like I said, on this plugin, we have bass, drums, kicks, synths, and vocals. So now we're going to go to a saxophone. I was like, well, what if you just use it on a regular instrument, right? Not any of these specifically. Because obviously, you could still, just because it's not a drum or a synth or a vocal, doesn't mean you still can't use it. But I'm just curious. So I have this sax sample. Actually, I'm just going to bring this on here. So now let's go to one of these, because we have offset for keys. So bring your lead select. Let's try this one. So since same thing. So it's kind of the same thing as synths. I feel like the processing is similar for synths or like an organic instrument like a saxophone on a piano. But so overall, I really love this plugin, honestly. I think it's made in such a way that makes it very simple for beginning producers, but also the algorithms and the way that it affects your samples or any element in your track is good enough as well for any advanced producer as well. So I kind of like the simplicity of this one. I like the GUI a lot too. Again, the only thing I really dislike about this one, as I've said a couple times, is the directory. You know, I feel like for this plugin though, I would mess around with this a lot more on my own. But again, if like say you're like, I want to try out his presets, his kind of presets that he made for this one, it is kind of annoying that there's no drop-down menu, that it all automatically brings up this directory, and you can't even see the rest of these, you know, like the full-on titles get cut off. But besides that, on this amazing plugin, and in addition, you could tell that he really designed it for producers everywhere, where he's like, look, I'm going to put a lot of work into this, and especially, too, the payment model. Splice has been a huge pioneer with this for a lot of, especially beginning producers, where it's only $5 a month for 20 months, so basically it's $100, but it's basically like a 0% interest loan, like I said way in the beginning of this video. So I'm telling you, I think especially for anybody looking to add some, more harmonics to really affect and kind of perfect their synths, their elements, anything in your track, and especially have it improve the mix down, this is one plugin that you definitely have to pick up.